US President Joe Biden, who's on a 4-day visit to Ireland, received a homecoming welcome in the town of Dundalk on Wednesday. Crowds lined the streets despite the rain to welcome the president, who shook hands with locals before visiting a restaurant and speaking at a nearby pub. Biden, who's fiercely proud of his Irish heritage, spent over half a day in Northern Ireland, where he met with British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak before leaving for the Irish Republic for 2.5 days of speeches and meetings with officials as well as distant relatives. A day after a fire broke out at a local recycling plant in Indiana, United States, a massive column of smoke could be seen over the plant. The fire prompted officials to order thousands of locals to evacuate the area. According to local media reports, while firefighters were able to contain the fire to the facility grounds, the toxic nature of the fumes it's raised safety concerns. Officials say teams are taking samples of the water immediately surrounding the fire to test for possible contamination. E-cigarette company Juul has agreed to pay $462 million to settle claims by 6 US states that it unlawfully marketed its addictive products to minors. With the deal, Juul has now settled with 45 states for more than $1 billion. The states had accused Juul of falsely marketing its e-cigarettes as less addictive than cigarettes and targeted minors with glamorous advertising campaigns. The company, however, did not admit wrongdoing in the settlement. US radio giant NPR has said that it will no longer post fresh content of its 52 official Twitter feeds after the organization was labeled as state-affiliated media by the social media platform. NPR said in a statement that it had made the decision after Twitter refused repeated requests to remove the inaccurate label. Other than NPR, British broadcaster BBC has also objected to Twitter labeling it as government-funded media on the company's main account.
Ideally, most of America.
Ukraine's defense minister has said that the alleged Pentagon document leaks contain a mix of true and false information about the country's military. During a briefing in Madrid with his Spanish counterpart, the Ukrainian defense minister said, and I'm quoting here, "There's a lot of information which does not correspond with reality." He also said that he believes the leaks were a deliberate attempt to sow discord among Kiev's allies. Some national security experts and US officials say they suspect that the leaker could be an American, but do not rule out pro-Russian elements. Estonia's parliament voted in favor of Prime Minister Kaja Kallas staying in office. This shows how Estonia is okay with her plans to raise taxes and defense spending in the face of perceived threats from neighbor Russia. Kallas said that the country needed to refill its defense stocks after transferring supplies to Ukraine. Estonia has been the top supplier of military equipment to Ukraine by the share of GDP, having sent more than 1% of her government agreed to increase defense spending to 3% of the GDP for years 2024 from 2027 from 2.85% in 2023. Switzerland's parliament has rejected a Credit Suisse rescue package. This included $120.87 billion in financial guarantees and a largely symbolic vote as the government commitment made using emergency law cannot be overturned. Credit Suisse was taken over by rival UBS for 3 billion Swiss francs and propped up with more than 250 billion Swiss francs in guarantees and support. This has drawn widespread criticism. In the merger last month, Swiss emergency law was used so that a subgroup of 6 members of parliament approved the financial commitment on behalf of the legislative body. Syria's Foreign Minister Faisal Mekdad has arrived in Saudi Arabia in a visit that signals that Syria's decade-long regional isolation is nearing an end. Mekdad landed in Saudi Red Sea city of Jeddah on Wednesday, following an invitation from his Saudi counterpart. This marks the first visit by a senior Syrian diplomat to the kingdom in more than a decade, following an agreement between Riyadh and Damascus to re-establish ties and reopen their embassies. The resumption of ties marks the most significant development in moves by Arab states to normalize links with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, who was shunned by many Western and Arab states after Syria's civil war began in 2011. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.